Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Larry, and today we are looking at another Warhammer 40K figure from McFarlane Toys. This is Ork Big Mek, or Mek. And this guy is huge. I mean, just take a close look at this guy just in the packaging. And how big it is, just in the palm of my hands. I mean, it's a beefy box, it's a beefy toy. It's got some really nice artwork, photos of the figure all over the box. Bottom, you got all this. Still got the price tag from GameStop. And again, as with all the other Warhammer figures I have reviewed so far, this was provided by my friend Chris, because I am not a Warhammer collector, but he allowed me to open these up and do a review for. So let's get them out of the package and take a closer look. And here we have our Ork Big Mek out of the packaging. And of course, like some of the other villains or monsters in this line, you have a little bit of assembly, which is his lovely big backpack here. So we'll go ahead and he's very top heavy already, but as you can see, it's very simple. You really can't mess this up. Just pretty much just line it up and just give it a nice push. And it's in there pretty good, and it's, well, no, actually it's pretty easy to get back out. So let's see if I can't really get this bad boy in here. Alright, so there's, he is all combined with his pack, and he is extremely top heavy. As you can see, it's really difficult keep him standing, even with the little base, which really, I appreciate them coming with it, but to be honest, it's kind of useless for a figure this massive, in my opinion. So before we try to really get him to stand, let's take a close look at the design, the deco of the figure, all the paintwork. And as you can see, it's fairly nicely painted. It has a lot of wash around the detail on the skin and on the other metallic or mechanized parts of the figure. A lot of hoses, and this is actually a really soft, pliable plastic, very rubbery. This not so much. This is more of a solid piece down here, but these hoses here, cables, are very loose and pliable. Got a little bit here on the back, this tiny little strip here. Actually, all of these here are very kind of loose, which is good. Even on this other arm here. Now these hinges are a bit brackets here that are on his legs. Somewhat soft plastic. It has a little bit of give, but it's still pretty beefy on both sides. Alright, but the paintwork looks really nice. I mean, I think there's some other areas that didn't get painted, like there are these hoses here that are on his face that probably should have been painted a separate color, but I can see where that would have got missed. Now as for articulation, the head just seems to be on a swivel. It could be a ball peg, but there's really no up or down. Just, you know, just rotation on here on the neck because of how forward squatting he is. So there's no up or down looking or nothing, or no ability to look up or down. On the arms, you do seem to have a slight butterfly, but it doesn't give you a lot of mobility there. You do have a hinge. I believe it's probably a peg. hinge there. You can get full rotation around. And backpack does come off really, really loose, so it is up to you how you want to secure that. I would probably suggest some kind of, I don't know, not really super glue, because it might melt some of the softer plastic on here. So, but you do have that. There is doesn't seem to be any bicep swivel at all. And it looks like it should, or looks like they were going to do an elbow joint, but there is no elbow joint. If you look closely here, you can see a slight hole there. Oh, it looks like it might have been a slight hole in the mold, or in the sculpt here. So I don't know if that was intentional or just a byproduct. But you can tell this looks like it was going to have a hinge, and it looks like they kind of just decided against it and just made it one solid piece. So there's no bicep swivel, no wrist, no elbow, no cut here at the glove. But there is, at least on this arm, I guess you could call that a wrist swivel, but it's for his big clamp here, which is still hard, but you can get a little bit of movement, but you won't want to be able to do it much on there. You do have a swivel at the waist. You do have a swivel at the waist, and you get a little bit of movement for a crunch. So I guess this probably is a ball joint. I can't really tell. No other swivels on the other arm. Your legs, they do go forward and back, but because of the big bracket here, you can go outside a little bit, but not by a whole lot. The knees do bend, but it is only a single jointed knee, and they are very ratchety. And then you do have a slight toe articulation on the foot, and it does have a hinge, and these are like probably the tightest. There they are. Nice run, big click on that. But you actually get some downward motion on the toe as well. Yeah. But it's really tight on the hinge here for the ankle. Super, super tight. And that's really all there is to it. He doesn't have a lot of articulation at all. And see if we can't get him to finally stand. Oh, I think I put that foot up too far. There we go. That's better. Now we got him to stand. I had to just adjust his feet a little bit. Now, as a size comparison, I'm going to compare him to the flayed one here. And he's really beefy against the flayed one. And of course, then you have the Gene Stealer as well. So yeah, you can tell how tall he is compared to the rest of those two. And of course, we'll move flayed one. Oh, we'll go ahead and move Gene Stealer out. And put our Battle Sister next to him, and it's got a decent size comparison to him. And just for even more size comparison, we'll put him next to, we'll bring in Dino Charge Red again, as he's not really standing straight. We'll go ahead and fix that. The Dino Charge Red's ankle is really tight, so set him there. And you can tell that they all really just tower over the normal 6-inch scale, since they are a 7-inch scale line. And also, we'll bring back out one of the figures from the first review, one of our hunter pack figures without his backpack on. But yeah, they all just tower all over this guy. But all in all, I mean, he's a nice figure, but he's very limited, and I'm not a fan of that. But I guess it's kind of part of the course for a figure this large. So I don't know what kind of posability you're going to really get out of this guy. I mean, he's cool if you're going to just sit him on the shelf. I mean, that's what most of us collectors do. But yeah, there is some nice molded detail, though I didn't even catch at first glance. Nice little printed orc skull there, or embossed. It is raised on that, so that's nice little molded detail I didn't really notice. I mean, it's pretty cool. Just sad that it doesn't seem to have any articulation in the elbow, even though it does have the backpack peel off again, but it has this nice piston here on both arms, but you can't bend anything. Oh wait, nope, there it is. I got it to work. Maybe it's just this one. Oh wait, no. I'm getting some wiggle. Oh, I'm getting some wiggle. Is it gonna move? Oh, there it goes. It is a hinge. It was just super tight on this guy. I knew it had to be. It could just be a weird hole. It was so blended with it and so tight on there. Yeah. So there you go. I was gonna be really, really worried. Oh, that helps. So now I know when I do the other two that their elbows will bend. Oh man. But like I said, they're really tight. And that is a nice detail with the pistons here. But be very careful. There's already seemed to get a little bit of stress on that peg. So be very, very careful when you mess around with that. See, it's even kind of stressed there too. So you don't want to overdo it. It has very little rotation, so try not to bend that too much. Just try to keep it going, up and down with the hinge, opposed to anywhere outward. So there is a little bit of rotation there. But that's a nice little happy accident. I'll go ahead and put the backpack back on him. That's like probably the most disappointing part, is that this backpack does not want to stay on all that well, and maybe I'm just not using enough force. Possible. But again, like I said, this isn't mine, and I really don't want to damage this guy any more than it seems I have, or at least maybe it was already like that. I didn't notice it at first, but the stress on those balls in there for those pegs, for those pistons in there, really has me worried. So hopefully when you get yours, you won't tweak with it too much. But like I said, when you look at it, you can't even tell if those were going to bend at first. I mean, it looked like they were hinges, but it looked like they're so tight in there and the paint's so good, it matched so well, you couldn't really even see the hinge unless you really look for it. Or maybe just my eyes are going bad. So as I was attempting to pose them, I was finally able to get the wrists to move. I actually was able to get them to loosen up a bit. So yeah, be very patient with these guys when you get them out. But yeah, they are super tight, especially on this one on the cannon. It likes to stick quite a bit. Man. But yeah, you can see it's just But yet every joint on this guy is super tight, which is I guess a good thing from being so top heavy. But yeah, that's great. Articulation, so he does have wrist swivels, or I guess glove cut. Yeah, glove cuts. And you see more of that rotation, a little bit working on that hinge now too. So be careful. I don't know what the tolerance is going to be like on the plastic on these guys, but he does have wrist or glove rotation on both arms. Obviously, there won't be a wrist one on his right because there is no wrist, and I don't know if that's supposed to be worked like that. Maybe, because there ain't no way. It's really tough plastic. So there ain't no way of bending that back in. Is it a separate piece? No. Or is it? No. But yeah, so that's interesting. Again, this is the first time I've had these out of the package, so there you go.
All in all, I can't really recommend the big Ork figures. They're really tight in the joints and very hard to pose. But if you like the design, go ahead and pick it up. But for me, not my cup of tea. Thanks for watching, and if you like the content that I produce, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification button for many more videos to come. Until then, peace out.